Right now, your nose is doing most of the work you call tasting, but there's a step before that, one your eyes control before a single molecule ever reaches your tongue. Picture a grape candy. What color is it in your head right now? How did you know that before you even opened the bag? Now imagine that same rule running completely out of control every single day for one man with words. Meet a real case documented by scientists. For this man, certain words trigger an actual taste in his mouth. Not a memory of a taste, an actual one. The word chair, cola and cherry. Certain names taste like specific dishes, every time exactly the same way, for his whole life. This isn't imagination. It isn't a metaphor, it's a real measurable condition called synesthesia. And this particular flavor of it even has a name, lexical-gustatory synesthesia. Words tasted. People with synesthesia don't get to choose when it happens. A word arrives and the taste just arrives with it. No effort, no imagination required. Same word, same taste. Every single time for their entire life. And this isn't some ancient myth or internet rumor. Real, carefully designed studies have confirmed it happens exactly the same way, years apart in the same person. Here's what should bother you about this. Taste and language are supposed to live in completely separate rooms of the brain. One handles flavor, the other handles meaning. They are not supposed to talk to each other. And yet, somehow, a word is reaching across the hall and switching on the taste room. So what actually breaks down in a brain like this? And more importantly, is it really broken at all? Neuroscientists found a real answer, and it's simpler than you'd expect. In the brain, the region that processes letters and words sits right next door to a region involved in color and flavor processing. While a baby's brain develops, it normally trims away the extra wiring between neighboring regions, like clearing out crossed phone lines so each room only rings its own number. In someone with synesthesia, the trimming is incomplete. The wiring between the two neighboring rooms stays a little too connected, so a signal meant only for word leaks straight into taste. And the brain, being the brain, doesn't ignore it. It builds a full real taste experience out of it. Here's the part that should really get you. You don't need synesthesia for your brain to blend your senses together without asking. It already does something like this every single time you eat. You've just never noticed because it feels completely normal from the inside. Scientists have spent years proving that everyone's senses quietly cross-wire each other. Play people a high-pitched sound and ask them to pick a shape. Most choose something small, sharp and bright. Play a low, deep sound and they'll pick something large, round and dark. Nobody taught you that rule. Your brain built it on its own, matching one sense to another automatically before you even had time to think about it. Now here's where it gets almost unbelievable. In a famous French experiment, researchers took ordinary white wine and secretly dyed it red using a flavorless, odorless dye. Nothing about the actual wine changed. Then they asked professional wine tasters to describe it. Every single one of them described it using red wine language, dark berries, plum, tannins, words that make no sense for a white wine. Their trained, expert noses weren't lying to the researchers. Their brains were lying to them. Live in real time, because the color had already decided what the smell should be before the tasting even started. And it's not just color. In one large study, nearly 3,000 people tasted the exact same red wine, poured from a glass they couldn't see through, while the lighting and music in the room quietly changed around them. Same wine, same glass, same everything except the room. And yet people rated it noticeably fresher and fruitier under some lighting and music than others, sometimes by close to a fifth of the whole scale. Nothing about the liquid ever changed, only the atmosphere did. So is your brain just glitching, tricking you every time you eat? Not exactly. Your brain never actually tastes chemicals directly. It builds taste in real time out of every clue available: smell, texture, memory, expectation, and yes, color. That's not a bug. It's the same system that lets you recognize a friend's voice in a noisy room or spot a ripe fruit at a glance. Taste was never a pure, isolated sense waiting to be measured. It was always a guess your brain puts together in the moment, but that guess isn't random. Your brain has quietly logged a lifetime of real meals: every ripe strawberry that was red and sweet, every unripe one that was green and sour, every rich, deep-colored drink that turned out full-bodied. Color has been a genuinely reliable clue about flavor your whole life, so your brain learned to trust it, the same way it learns to expect footsteps before it hears them. By the time a color reaches your eyes, your brain has already placed its bet on the taste before a single molecule touches your tongue. This is exactly why food companies obsess over color, why a cherry candy is almost always red no matter what it's actually flavored with, and why the exact same soda tastes just slightly different to people in a red can versus a blue one. You've been quietly voting on flavor with your eyes your whole life, without ever once being asked. So the next time something tastes exactly the way you expected, stop and ask yourself, is that really the flavor? Or is that just the color talking? Somewhere between your tongue and your mind, your brain isn't just recording the world, it's quietly building it, one sense borrowing from another, every single time you take a bite. If you learned something new today, that's exactly why this channel exists. Hit like, subscribe, and pass it on to someone who would enjoy it too.